Nobody wins when the family feels.
On the same little nigga, bro, that was helping your big player brother put food on the table when you wasn't with him, bro.
I don't live flipping, man. I had to do this jump, man. Talking to my scale, man. That hoe was so motherfucking hard. Man, this the Deuce version of that jump, dog. LL flipper, I remember we stacking them hundreds and fifties and spending them 20s and 10s. Push on the op, man, we gon' spend again. Remember them losses showed me how to win.
Put the guns down. Where are they coming from? I mean, what is all this steering from? I mean, what? Why?
Why? The question many people living in this southeast Shelby County neighborhood are wondering after a homicide plagued their community.
I didn't hear any shots, but I knew something was going on because I kept seeing the cop cars coming, speeding up and down through here.
The Shelby County Sheriff's Office is around 10:30 Saturday night. 23-year-old Moasis Hardy was shot and killed. The person responsible is still.
Here, another child been shot.
The child's family tells WREG the boy was shot in the face.
So I was told this story about a week ago, and I was doing my homework. I also reached to one of the victim's family, and they made an emphasis that they wanted to make sure I spread light on this story, being the media is not, and trial coming up on the second week of November of 2023. But as I was doing my homework, I found out more people was involved. Now, of course, by now you guys know I'm only gonna speak on public facts. But as I gathered the details, family, I couldn't wait to bring you guys this story. This is a prime example of how this lifestyle end up. You telling on yourself on social media. You end up trying to get back, throwing your life away in the process. Karma come back around. You lose the life of your child because allegedly you're responsible for the life of another child. But on top of that, you gave a statement living this street life on your own homie, trying to rob you, taking out the life of your best friend in the process. This is that life. But after doing all that, you rapping. You still rapping this gangster image. Fam, I'm only here to present the facts. Now, based on that intro, you guys pretty much know why we're here today. So before we go over this one, remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it. We're stopping past the beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. Family, this is Jerry to the left and Gerald Anderson to the right. They both brothers. Their group is called Cash Cartel, as you see on their shirts. And just so we clear, the one with the dreads is the oldest, the one with the haircut is the youngest. They was a rapper, according to the indictment, allegedly involved in moving a lots of peas, talking about 100 a week. They was also rappers. They went by Cash Deuce, the youngest brother, and Big Cash, the oldest brother. Had tracks like Trap House, released 2 years ago, with just 4.3 thousand views and counting.
Really got rich off a grad, invested in both, built my stash. Hating that nigga stay mad, 2 to 3 spinning so fast.
Now in the summer of 2020, the brothers allegedly did a drive-by in a Benz G-Wagon truck with the C-Class Benz in front of them, letting off fire in this house. Not once, but twice, broad daylight. Now stay with me, family. The fact that they spinning the block in a $100,000 car and later put it in their social media in the same house that was also in the news, which we'll later get to. But the fact that they did it hours apart, broad daylight. They waited till officers left the first time. Minutes after, they came back. It was about 5 kids in their house. The first time they had shot it up. All but one had ended up leaving. The second time, the toddler, he was about 18 months. They ended up getting struck. They survived, thank God. And the 70-year-old woman, she survived, thank God. Now all this happened while a group of men was shooting dice outside in the back. One of those men was allegedly the bigger brother of Yo Gotti, Big Jook. Now allegedly Big Jook owed these brothers some money for some bags. He didn't give it up. They went to split the block. According to the DA office, police collected around 130 shell casings from near the scene on East Macklemore Avenue and Raymore Street, where the shooting occurred, as we mentioned, hours apart. The exact date, June 8th, 2020.
New video tonight from the moment someone opened fire on a Midtown home, injuring a 70-year-old woman and a toddler inside. WMC Action News 5's Janice Broach joins us live now with the way a neighbor was nearly caught in the crossfire. Janice?
Well, Joe, neighbors tell me it's one of the boldest crimes they've ever seen. In the middle of the day, a house shot up, not once, but twice, all in the same day, an 18-month-old hit. I talked with one neighbor who told me his harrowing story of that crime, all caught on video.
It sounded like dynamite going off. There were some big guns being shot. big guns and smaller guns. There were 2 or 3 different guns. I could tell by the sound of it.
Investigators say the house next door to Edward Mayhew's was the target of Monday afternoon shooting on East McLemore. Look and listen to this ring video from the target house. You can see 2 cars in front of the house with the suspect shooting, a Mercedes G-Wagon and a silver sedan. Look at all of the bullet evidence markers on the windows of the house. Part of the front porch was shot off and bricks damaged. Police say that was the first shooting of the day at the house. The shooters came back 30 minutes later after police left for the first time. Investigators say an 18-month-old, a 70-year-old woman, neighbors say, who owns the house where her daughter lives, and 2 men in their 20s were injured in the second shooting. Edward Mayhew said if he'd been home during the first shooting, he likely would have been shot.
Bullets came through a window in my bedroom, tore up some drapes, went through the wall at the back of the bedroom, all the way into my medicine chest in the bathroom, broke the mirror in there, and broke my toothbrush.
Mayhew was home when the second round of shooting happened, but was not hit. He says there were 5 children under the age of 8 in his neighbor's house. He says relatives left with 4 of those children after the first shooting, all but the 18-month-old shot in the second shooting. Now take another look at the suspect vehicles, a Mercedes silver sedan and a black G-Wagon. And Edward Mayhew said the shooting began, he was told, after one of the men in the house was on the phone arguing with someone, and then the shooting began. Now, if you know who those people are, call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. Live, Janice Broach, WMC Action News 5.
Now, ironically, no one would be arrested for that crime for months, at least to the following year in January. But during that time, you see this cul-de-sac on the screen, family? This also the location the older brother would frequently post. This him posting a picture in front of his home with just 15 likes. This him posting a picture of a G-Wagon in front of that house saying, "Catch up, Lil N, been driving around 100K whips." Now this is the brothers shooting a music video in front of that same house around New Year's. And on the 29th of December, he had this video with the caption, "Coming into the rap game with our own bread. We ain't wanting for but support." With the caption, "Support the cartel." Now that was the same day he shot that video. But check out this guy recording, making an Instagram post himself, Jalen Hatch. 2 weeks later, at that same house, January 17th, 2021, a man had lost his life and another person injured. You know who that other person was? The older Anderson brother, Gerald Anderson. And the guy who lost his life was just 23 years old. Moses Hardy, may he rest in peace, and love and condolences to his family. And the guy held responsible is Jalen Hatch. And how do we know that? Because of the statement Gerald Anderson gave authorities the night he survived getting shot in the neck and his best friend losing his life. Now before I show you guys the statement and read it word for word, check out what Hatch had wrote on Facebook on the day of this incident. A shush emoji, not knowing that the older Anderson brother had survived. It said the homeowner, Gerald Anderson, was also shot in the neck but survived his injuries. He was able to identify Jalen Hatch, 22 years old, as one of the shooters. Anderson told deputies he was recording a song in his home studio with Hardy, Hatch, and another man he didn't know. And so we clear, family, Hardy is Moses, the young man who lost his life. That's when he go on to say when Hatch and the other suspect pulled out firearms and demanded their money. Anderson said the men forced him into a bedroom with Hardy and told him to open his safe. Anderson stated that he was so nervous he couldn't open the safe. That's when Hatch and the other man had opened fire. Investigators said Anderson was able to pick Hatch out of a photo lineup and he was located at a hotel in Austin Pay Highway. They said Anderson was in possession of a handgun stolen in Memphis back in September. This is a picture of the brothers at Moses' funeral.
help finding a killer who shot 2 people overnight in southeast Shelby County. Thank you for joining us for the news at 10. I'm Janine Lewis. Deputies identified the victim as 23-year-old Moses Hardy. WRG's Kwamitra Wilborn joins us live from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office in downtown Memphis. And Kwamitra, how is that second victim doing?
Well, Janae, when I last spoke to a spokesman with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, he told me that second victim is going to be okay. I did speak to people who live in that area where this double shooting happened, and they all tell me that they need the violence to come to an end.
I put the guns down. Where are they coming from? I mean, what is all this steering from? I mean, why?
Why? The question many people living in this southeast Shelby County neighborhood are wondering after a homicide plagued their community.
I didn't hear any shots, but I knew something was going on because I kept seeing the cop cars coming, speeding up and down through here.
The Shelby County Sheriff's Office is around 10:30 Saturday night. 23-year-old Moses Hardy was shot and killed. The person responsible is still on the run.
Another young person's life has ended at an early age. 23, they haven't even started living life yet.
Laditra Higgins says she's lived in the neighborhood since 2003. She says while she understands crime doesn't belong to a specific zip code, she's concerned with how it's impacting her community.
There are a lot of elementary kids that play in these coves. So now it's like, where do they get to play at if stuff like this is constantly happening?
So far, deputies have not released a motive for this shooting.
That family still needs prayer because they have to make arrangements for that loved one.
Yeah, just a very sad situation. This is still an ongoing homicide investigation. So if you know anything that can lead to an arrest, you are encouraged to contact Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH. Live in downtown Memphis, Kwamitra Wilborn, WREG, News Channel 3.
All right, thanks, Kwamitra. And a man walking in Frazier was gunned down in...
Now, I'm not saying who right or wrong talking to authorities. I'm just here to present the facts and you guys make a decision. But even after all that, and most of all almost losing his life, he went back to that image and went back rapping with his younger brother. But look how this worked. The guy who almost took your life and responsible for your best friend losing his life, now he give authorities about a shooting they did the year before. The shooting they did in the G-Wagon and the C-Class. So now 4 people was arrested based on a testimony. Both of the brothers was arrested and released on a $250,000 bond. Also charged was Jalen Hatch and a guy named Mitchell Hopkins. Now while on trial, a lot has happened for the brothers. The oldest brother had just got arrested 3 months ago trying to bring some peas in on a plane. But also the younger brother, and that's why we say revenge don't have a date, and it just hurt my heart, family. 2 years after him, his brother and 2 others was indicted for being responsible for the shooting that struck a toddler and a 70-year-old woman. That same month, 2 years later, the younger brother, only son, Trey Anderson, will lose his life in his presence in their home from allegedly an accidental shooting. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to the family. Now, as a platform, I have to be non-biased. Fam, I don't know what's going on. As we mentioned, he's out on bond of a $250,000 bond. He didn't get arrested for that situation. In fact, he's out right now, still on bond, and he's making music. He made a track last year in dedication to his son called The Aftermath.
The name Mo3 was shot and killed during an attack in broad daylight.
Nipsey Hussle was murdered in broad daylight outside a clothing store that he owned in South Los Angeles.
Now at 11, we're following breaking news. A rap star on the rise killed during a violent home invasion in the Hollywood Hills this morning.
Tonight, we strongly encourage everyone to stay home if you do not have to be out.
The Memphis police chief is asking everyone to stay home tonight after rapper Young Dolph is gunned down and killed at a South Memphis cookie shop.
Rob Peter to pay Paul, that's the life that we living. Rolling up to fill the void, but still something missing.
When this case get a sentence and more developed, I'll make sure I keep you guys updated. All in all, if you're gonna throw your life away, man, and it hurt me to say this, I advise you to don't. I had a heart to walk down on your target, hitting up houses. We all know that ain't gangster. Ain't nothing respected about it if that's the life you live. It's very unfortunate. Loving prayers and rest in peace to all the victims who lost their life. Prayers to anyone who was affected by the series of events that we touched on. Hopefully we can learn from this. If not us all, at least once. Fan, let me know how you guys feel about this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, I'll catch you guys on the next one.